Yeah, hi, good morning everyone. Today's this topic would be most useful for the employees and every individual working in the organizations and the corporates should be knowing about this. That is quiet firing. The very unfortunate thing is a lot of professionals, a lot of employees doesn't understand what quiet firing is, or if they are really going through it, right? So a lot of people will be victim of quiet firing, but that they'll not be knowing that they are going through a quiet firing. And this is the most saddest part that should never happen to any employee in the organization. But unfortunately, they go through the hell of pain. They go through a lot of ill treatment at the organization and etc. So that's not a fair thing. So this being the reason, so I just want to shed some light on this and help you understand if you are going through a quiet firing, what a quiet firing means, and how to come out of it, right? So that's all the today's topic going to be about. Okay. So if you already know about quiet firing, consider sharing this video, like this video. Okay. Anyways, so a lot of them will not be knowing what a quiet firing is. Let's get started. Okay. So quiet firing is a scenario where an employee will be ill treated by the management or the manager, right? Or the behavior towards that employee will change drastically, which usually will be a negative change, which will put the employee in trouble, will make them feel disrespected, that they will be ill treated, right? So why does this happen? Why does this happen? First thing, so why should an organization or a manager or a management should do this? See, if employee is not up to the mark, management has got the right to put them on the PIP, or maybe ask them to quit, or they can fire, or they can allow the employee to serve the notice period and leave, right? But then why do this happen, right? So even before we discuss this, let's quickly understand the signs, the indications that you are going through a quiet firing. Okay. See, the first thing, as I mentioned, you will be ill treated. You will be ill treated. The behavior towards you by your management or by your manager will change drastically, and you will be able to feel that. You will be able to sense that. Second thing, so they start micromanaging you. So they go through every single work done by you. They'll be micromanaging every work done by you, and they'll start giving you unrealistic targets and unrealistic workload, right? So this is another indication which will help you to understand that you are going through quiet firing. So they'll start involving you less in the meetings, in the important discussions in the organization, regardless of your role, regardless of your designation. They'll start taking control of all the tools, usually which should have been in your control, and they'll start taking all the accesses, and they will minimize all the controls for you. This is another indication that you're going through a quiet firing. So the respect towards will come down. You will be less involved in the meetings, teams, or any other discussions happening in the organizations, or it could be planning, right? And any plan that you come up with, any achievement, you whatever the progress that you make, there won't be any kind of appreciation for it. There won't be any kind of appreciation for any of the work that you come up with. Even if you are making great achievements, you won't get any kind of appreciation. Rather, your peers or the equivalent roles in the organization might get honored and appreciated for no real great work happening, just to make you feel bad, just to make you feel bad. So that's another indication that you are going through a quiet firing. Okay. So during appraisals, you might get a negligible hike as compared to that of any other role in the organization, or you may not get any kind of hike at all. This also indicates that you are going through a quiet firing, right? And so company would start finding replacements for you. This is another indication of quiet firing. Company would start finding replacements. They would get the replacements, but they'll never ask you to leave. But then they'll start ill treating you, right? Any idea or plan that you go with, they'll not consider you. They'll not appreciate your plans or ideas, right? And then so your roles, designations may not change despite the number of years of experience, right? And apart from that, this you won't be introduced to various teams in the organization, so you might not get the regular respect or experiences that you would have been uh, experienced at that organization. So you will feel that, you will sense that. So they'll sideline you, and they'll not make you part of the important plans or discussions about the projects. So they would blame you for anything going wrong. They would unnecessarily blame you or make you accountable for anything that's going wrong in the organization or in your project or in your team. So only the negative things will be brought to you. Only the negative things will be brought to you. So they might start speaking less to you. So they may not speak hurtful to you. So the behavior would have changed completely about you, and they would have taken some random excuse for that. Maybe probably it can be any simple random excuse, but not necessarily that will be a thing to be considered. And they show this as an excuse for their behavior. But the fact is, they are expecting you to move out of the organization. But then they are not speaking this directly to you. They are just have changed their behavior towards you in multiple ways wherever possible, in all the ways. Wherever possible, they try to they try to make you feel bad, they ill treat you, right? So this all indicates there could be n number of things I might have missed out on it. So if you guys are watching these videos, consider adding those points. I'll appreciate for your contribution for this. You can comment on this video, right? So this all indicate that you are going through a quiet firing. So what should you be doing in those scenarios? So first thing or first suggestion is, so go speak to them directly, understand what's the problem. What is the problem? So if they are not really liking you, so the management doesn't want you to be continuing the role, so they would probably speak out and tell it to you, and you can decide accordingly, or they might stop doing all of this to you. You would at least get the clarity. But going through all of this quietly is not suggested. You will be severely impacting your mental health. This will put you in further trouble. This will make you very unproductive, okay, and you will go through a lot of health issues, right? So hence it's suggested to speak to the management or your manager and understand what's the problem, okay. And if there is any real problem from your side, try to fix that as well. Try seeking feedback from your management or from your immediate managers, right? So this is what you could do, right? So if you understand that's all intentional and no more you are expected to be part of that organization, better make a move. So you can decide to, so if your financial situation is good, you can consider moving immediately, or maybe you take a time and then you plan it accordingly, right? So now another thing, so which we haven't discussed, why do the management or the managers do this? Why do the management or managers do this? So usually, if they did not like your work, or if you are incompetent, if you're not really capable, so management has got the right to fire you or ask to leave you. But if they are not doing this, there is something else. They have liked your work, you are capable of delivering your work, or satisfying the responsibilities in that role, right? But then still, if they are doing this, most probably it will be a grudge on you, a personal grudge on you, right? Or maybe they would have not liked your behavior or not liked your attitude, or they sense that you might put them in trouble. There are various scenarios which they are not really capable of communicating them and act accordingly. See, if there is a real issue, people will definitely communicate. Sometimes you are touching their ego. Sometimes you are making them feel bad with your words or with your language or with your communication. You're not really speaking something bad, but the way your attitude is just making them feel bad about it, and they don't want you to be part of the organization, part of the team, part of, or there can be any personal, so they are not liking your growth. Even these things could happen. So you are doing much better than your manager or anybody in the team or in the organization, right? And so people don't like it. So your some certain managers in the organization would like you to speak sweet to them, right? You have to sound lovely, sweet to them. So you have to be praising them. There are kinds of managers. So if you are behaving, if you are doing your work, and if you are clear with everything, and if you are not really bugging them, and or if you are not really praising them, so that's when they don't really consider you to be as the best person in the team for their personal reasons. So these are the various reasons of scenarios where they decide to do all of this to you, and you will be prone to quiet firing. Okay. So as I mentioned, a lot of professionals will not know that they are going through a quiet firing. They just get confused, or they'll be mentally, psychologically imbalanced, and they are just experiencing all this worst thing or a bad part during their this when they are victim of all this. They just get impacted psychologically, or their mental health gets deteriorated, and the problem is they'll never understand that they are going through a quiet firing, right? So if you can peacefully understand, okay, is it all right, or what's happening around you, so you will be able to realize that's a quiet firing. And my suggestion is, if you're going through a quiet firing, so either speak to them immediately, or just move away from that place. Okay. So if you're not doing either of them, you're going to kill yourself severely on, I mean, with regard to your mental health and physical health, right? So for more videos, for more these kinds of videos, please do subscribe to my channel. And if I have missed out on anything, do comment on it. If you have seen this happening to any of your colleagues or to yourself, so just let me know here in the comments, or you can express it in any other way. You can write an email to me, right? I'll be able to help you what you should be doing, right? So another thing which we forgot to discuss is, so the quiet firing doesn't happen to freshers, or maybe just a particular segment of the professionals. So quiet firing is something which any kind of professional in the organization can go through. Even the C-level professionals, the co-founders, the directors, right, the CEOs, everybody go through this quiet firing, right? So people are not really capable of firing them for different reasons. Maybe it could be in terms of power, or it could be in terms of they are not really, they know what they are doing is wrong or not. That sounds very awkward to express certain things publicly, and hence they don't communicate any of these things. They just act this way, right? So it's not just you, anybody in the organization can go through quiet firing, right? That's all about the quiet firing, guys. Thanks very much for watching this video. Please do share this video with your friends and network.